The bright red text on my monitor read, "Account deleted. This action is irreversible." I dropped my backpack. It hit the hardwood floor with a heavy, sickening thud. My hands were actually shaking. I stood frozen in the doorway of my bedroom, my brain violently rejecting what my eyes were seeing. 3 years of grinding. Over $2,000 of my own money from working part-time shifts at the university library. Thousands of hours spent raiding, trading, and climbing the competitive ladders. Just gone. I turned around and saw my 10-year-old cousin, Leo, standing by my closet. He was giggling uncontrollably, holding my $150 wireless gaming mouse in one hand and his sticky iPad in the other. "You got trolled, bro." Leo laughed, pointing his iPad camera at my face. "Say hi to TikTok. Epic account deletion prank." I couldn't breathe. I lunged toward my desk, shoving my chair out of the way, and grabbed the mouse from his hand. I frantically clicked the screen, praying to God it was just a fake screenshot he had pulled up on Google Images to mess with me. It wasn't. I clicked over to my email on my second monitor. There was a string of automated security alerts. Item trashed. Mythic Void Blade. Item trashed. Season 1 Champion Skin. Item trashed. 50,000 premium currency. He hadn't just clicked delete account. He had spent the last 45 minutes methodically going through my inventory, manually trashing and quick-selling every single ultra-rare, unobtainable, and expensive item I owned for 0 in-game gold. And because my email client was open on the second monitor, he had easily clicked the 2FA confirmation link to bypass the security and initiate the permanent server-side account wipe. "Leo," I choked out, the sheer panic making my voice crack. "What did you do? Do you know what you just did?" "I deleted your stupid game," he giggled, completely devoid of empathy. "You wouldn't let me play on your computer yesterday, so I trolled you. The guys on Discord said it would be hilarious." "How did you even get in?" I yelled, my vision tunneling with absolute, white-hot rage. My PC was locked. My door was shut. "I saw you type your PIN code yesterday," Leo said smugly, crossing his arms. "It's just your birth year. You're so dumb." I stared at the red text glowing on my primary monitor. This wasn't just pixels. This was a highly sought-after competitive account. The cosmetic skins alone were worth $2,000 on third-party trading markets. It was my main social hub, my stress relief after grueling engineering lectures, and an asset I could have legitimately sold to pay for an entire semester of textbooks. And this little monster had incinerated it for a TikTok video. "Get out," I whispered, my hands gripping the edge of my desk so hard my knuckles turned white. "No," Leo sneered, lifting his iPad again. "I need to record you crying for part 2. Cry for the camera, nerd." I snapped. I stepped forward, snatched the iPad right out of his hands, and slammed it face down onto my bed. "Hey!" Leo screamed, his smug demeanor instantly vaporizing. He threw himself onto the floor and started unleashing a deafening, manufactured wail. "MOM. MOM. He hit me. He broke my iPad." Less than 5 seconds later, the heavy footsteps of my Aunt Karen came thundering down the hallway. "What did you do to my baby?" My Aunt Karen shoved past me, her eyes wide with manufactured terror. She dropped her knees on my bedroom floor and wrapped her arms protectively around Leo, who was currently burying his face in a shirt and squeezing out fake, breathless sobs. "He hit me." Leo wailed, pointing a chubby finger at me. I was just looking at his computer, and he pushed me and broke my iPad. "I didn't touch him." I roared, my voice vibrating off the walls. I took his iPad because he was recording me for TikTok. "Look at my monitor, Karen. He just deleted my entire gaming account. He bypassed my lock screen, bypassed my 2-factor authentication, and trashed $2,000 worth of digital assets." Karen slowly stood up, pulling Leo behind her. She looked at my primary monitor, saw the cartoonish fantasy logo of the game client next to the bright red deleted text, and her terrified expression instantly morphed into a look of absolute, dripping condescension. $2,000, she scoffed, crossing her arms. "OP, do not lie to me. That is a video game. You made my son cry over a video game. It is an account I have spent 3 years building." I yelled, my hands still shaking. The cosmetic items and in-game currency on that account have real-world market value. I paid for them with the money I make working at the university library. I could have sold that account next month to pay for my engineering textbooks. "It's just stupid pixels on a screen." Karen shrieked back, entirely dismissing the reality of the situation. "You are a 21-year-old grown man in college, OP. You shouldn't be playing children's games anyway. If anything, Leo did you a favor. Maybe now you'll focus on your studies instead of staring at a screen." While she was yelling, a notification pinged on my second monitor. It was an automated response from the game developer's premium support desk. I had submitted an emergency hacked account ticket the absolute second I saw the red text, praying a game master could roll back the server data. I clicked the email. My stomach plummeted into a bottomless pit. "Hello, OP. We have reviewed the logs for your account. Because the deletion and item trashing were performed manually from your recognized IP address, and the final wipe was authorized via the email two-factor authentication link on your machine. Our security protocols consider this a voluntary action. To prevent item duplication fraud, we cannot restore manually trashed items, nor can we reverse an authorized account wipe. We are sorry for the inconvenience. It's gone, I whispered, the finality of the email crushing the last tiny shred of hope I had. I looked up at Karen. Support can't restore it. He did too much damage from my own IP address. You owe me $2,000, Karen. Right now. Karen let out a loud, obnoxious laugh. Are you out of your mind? I am not paying you a single cent for imaginary toys. You need to grow up and stop trying to extort your family. It's destruction of property, I said, my voice turning terrifyingly calm. I have the receipts for every single microtransaction and digital purchase I ever made. If you don't pay me, I am calling the police for cyber vandalism. Call them, she challenged, grabbing Leo's hand and scooping his undamaged iPad off the bed. They'll laugh in your face, you childish nerd. She slammed my bedroom door behind her. I was left standing in the silent room, staring at the red text. She thought the police wouldn't care about imaginary toys. She was about to learn a very expensive lesson about digital property laws. I didn't bother arguing with her anymore. I didn't even call the police, knowing they usually brush off digital property disputes as civil matters. Instead, I went straight to the county courthouse website. I spent the next 3 days sitting at my desk, meticulously printing out every single digital receipt, bank statement, and microtransaction confirmation from the last 3 years. I highlighted every $5, $10, and $50 purchase. I printed the official email from the developer support team confirming the manual deletion from my IP address, and I printed out the third-party marketplace valuations of the ultra-rare skins Leo had trashed. Total documented loss, $2,145. I filed a lawsuit against Aunt Karen in small claims court for destruction of property, naming her as the financially liable guardian of a destructive minor. We had our hearing 2 months later. I showed up in a suit, carrying a neatly organized binder of evidence. Karen showed up in a velour tracksuit, loudly chewing gum and rolling her eyes at the bailiff. Your Honor, Karen sighed loudly when it was her turn to speak. My nephew is a 21-year-old college student throwing a tantrum over a children's computer game. My 10-year-old son just pressed a few buttons and deleted his little imaginary toys. There is no real damage here. He is completely wasting the court's time. The judge, a stern woman in her 50s, flipped through my heavily tabbed binder of bank statements. The judge said, peering over her glasses at Karen. When a person uses United States currency to purchase a digital license or a digital asset, that asset becomes legally recognized property. Your son bypassed a security lock and intentionally permanently destroyed over $2,000 of the plaintiff's property. That is cyber vandalism. Karen stopped chewing her gum. But it's just pixels. It is theft and destruction, the judge corrected sharply. The verdict: judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,145, plus $85 in court filing fees. Karen's face flushed bright red. As we walked out of the courtroom, she turned to me in the hallway, jabbing a finger into my chest. You are dead to this family. And you can hold your breath waiting for that money, because I'm never writing you a check for a stupid video game. She thought a judge's ruling was just a suggestion. She thought I would just give up. 30 days passed. The deadline to pay the judgment expired. So, I went right back to the courthouse and paid a small fee to file a writ of execution. A week later, I was sitting in my university library when my phone absolutely exploded with frantic, screaming text messages from Karen. A uniformed county sheriff's deputy had just knocked on her front door with a property seizure order. Because Karen had legally defaulted on her court-ordered debt, the sheriff was authorized to physically seize her non-exempt personal property to auction off to satisfy the judgment. According to my other aunt, who witnessed the entire glorious event, Karen screamed and cried as the deputy calmly unplugged her massive 75-inch OLED living room TV and loaded it onto a dolly. But the absolute best part? To cover the remaining balance, the deputy marched right into Leo's bedroom, unplugged his brand new PlayStation 5, scooped up his VR headset, and walked out the front door with them. Leo threw a tantrum so violent he actually vomited on the carpet, screaming that his toys were being stolen. Oh, the poetic irony. The aftermath. Karen couldn't handle her son screaming, nor could she miss her reality TV shows. The very next morning, she drove to the sheriff's office and angrily paid the full $2,230 in cash to get her seized electronics out of impound. The court mailed me the check a week later. I used it to pay for my entire semester of engineering textbooks, and I put the rest toward a brand new, ultra-secure biometric lock for my bedroom door. I had to start my gaming account over from scratch, but knowing Leo had to watch a cop walk out with his PS5 made every single lost pixel worth it.